Hello, stitcher friends. My name is Anastasia, and I'm a Russian cross stitcher who resides in China, Beijing. So today I am here to give you my August stitching update. I'm a little late now, it's already September, but I saved all my stitching from August to show you in one big video because this is gonna be a lot of stitching. In August, I'm a kindergarten teacher, so in August I had a long summer vacation. I did not go to work the whole month. I was staying home, I was very lazy, and I was stitching like crazy. I was absolutely not mindful, not demure in my stitching. I was going all in. So, yeah, I have a lot to show you. And today I came to you with my face open because last time I made a video when I just showed things with my hands. I got comments like, "Ooh, your hands are ugly." So I'm gonna give you a second attempt or to all my haters to send me a comment that your face is ugly too. And if I do get a comment like that, I will specifically learn to show my cross stitch using my legs. And you will get a video on how I'm unboxing and unpacking everything with my legs. Because when I got a comment that my hands are super ugly, like, what can I do? I don't know. So that's why, if you don't want to see my hands, beware, it's a threat. I might really make a video about my legs. I had a thought to use my cat paws to like unpack everything, but that would be like animal abuse, and you will call pet like rescue team on me. So that plan had to fail, but I told you, one more hating comment and I'm making a video with my feet. Okay, so the whole month I was staying home because this was like a summer vacation for me, but my husband was still working like 9 to 5, even 9 to 9, like 6 days a week, every day. So I thought, like, in my like value consciousness, let's say that like this, I really cannot go out, like go on vacation to another country with my like girlfriends when my husband is staying here and he's working and he's like in this crazy heat wave surviving and going to work every day, and I will be like, yay, let's go party, girls. So yeah, I did not sit at home 100% of the time. I went to quiz games, I went out with my friends, I went to the markets, I went um, just randomly to visit my friends and play board games with them. But oh, I started to learn poker. That's also very cool. But most of the time I was like, okay, my husband is working from home, and I will be staying here and stitch together. We will watch some movie because we can. He basically will sit here and I will be here, and that's our like workplace. So basically I was like, we will spend some quality time together, and that actually like gave me a lot of time to stitch. I This year I'm counting my stitches, and then like I write down on a calendar, like I have 1 month calendar, and every square box for every day I'm writing the number of the day, how many stitches I stitched. And it gave me so much dopamine. Like before I was also like criticizing the women who were like, oh, I'm counting my stitches, I'm stitching like 60,000 stitches every month, and I'm like, that's crazy. Why you do that? But then it's like when I started to do that for the first, I started playing like cross stitch games, and then for my games I had to count my stitches. So I'm like, okay, that might be nice to know how many stitches on average I make every month. And on average I do 10 to 12 12,000 stitches. On the like a worst month of the year, I did less than 10. But on average, it's been 12,000 stitches every month, and I'm happy with it. It's a really good number. And actually, knowing my number right now, I can kinda like start things and like think about my plans more, how to say, more realistically. Like if I plan to start something on 2, 3, 5,000 stitches, I will be 100% sure I can finish them this month. But if something is like 20,000 stitches, like this sweater, I'm like, okay, and no way I can do it like 1 month, because obviously, but also 2 months cannot, because I cannot like just stitch this one sweater 60 days in a row. I'm not a one process stitcher. I even struggle to stitch one thing for a whole week. I need constant change. I need diversity and inclusivity in my stitching. So I need something else. So I'm like, okay, probably I can do like 3 to 4,000 stitches a month. So now I can count how many months I need to like finish the hoodie or something like that. So this makes my plans more realistically, and then also helps me with the games, because right now cross stitch games rule my life, like literally. Unfortunately, I'm not a big Facebook user, so if there are like Facebook games, I have no idea about them, but I do participate in many VK games. Like it's mostly like Russian speaking social network. There are foreigners there and you can buy patterns there, but the game's mostly for Russian speakers, so I'm sorry about that. But I want to share my experience of cross stitch games, and if you participate in some of games like this, but like on Facebook or in English speaking community, I would like to join. I just don't know who is playing and where, like literally. But it really pushes me every time to, first of all, it pushes me to stitch. Like I love team games because like I cannot disappoint my team. And I love individual games because, for example, like the game I play right now, it gives 10 prompts for every month. It's like bingo, but it's like 10 prompts. And for every prompt, you have certain amount of stitches. It's like either 600 or 1200 stitches. But if you have no project for this prompt, you can cover it with a double number of stitches. So for example, if I want to stitch 600 in red, but at the moment I don't have anything red and I don't want to start new projects, so I can stitch 1200 in red and like in any color, and then close this prompt. So I've been participating in this game the whole year, like from the beginning of the year. It's called 120 prompts for the year and tasks, and every month they give us 10 prompts, and so far I managed to close every month 10 prompts. They are not always 100% cross stitch. Like some prompts could be like buy a cake, or start a new project, or finish a new project, or something like this. So it's not necessarily like on number of stitches. Some prompts actually give you some discounts on stitches, which is also very nice. But some prompts are really cool and they give me like this mental push to pick out something from the higher shelf of my like whip closet, because like I have an active number of whips which I stitch all the time, and I have whips which I didn't touch for a year or even like 2 years. Didn't touch at all. Like I started them many years ago, but I didn't touch them. And then comes a prompt where I need to stitch something with the furniture, and I'm like, oh, right now I don't have anything on furniture, but I don't want to stitch too much. I want to cover this prompt, so I'm going to go in my whip pile and I'm gonna look through all my whips and find something, and I'm like, yay, I didn't stitch this one, but now it will get some love. And in the end, for me, I have some whips I want to finish like this year, but I have most of my whips which I just want to touch. and I don't mind how many years they will last. Maybe right now a lot of you will have like seizures and how you don't want to finish your projects. No, it doesn't matter because I'm here not for the finishes. I'm here for the experience, and experience what matters. And if all my weeks give me different kinds of happiness, so I want all of them. I don't want to focus on one big thing and then I don't mind if you do. I'm just talking about myself. I don't want to focus on one big thing. I want to like touch 20 small ones. So yeah, but this month I managed 18,000 stitches. Wow. Like that's a lot. Like that's like a third more than my usual. I'm like, wow, that's a lot. And I was super happy. Yeah, I went crazy, but I was super happy. And generally, I stitched like about 600 a day, but I also had days when I didn't stitch anything or had to stitch less. So, yeah. And let me show my whips which I focused on and other whips which I chose for the prompts and even some finishes. Because this year I participate in all kinds of sales. So yeah, sales rule my life. they kind of like rule slash ruin my life, but I do get a lot of like excitement waiting for the next prompts every week in smaller games and for these big 10 prompts for like at the beginning of the month. And like on the 1st of September I was like, what are they, what I have, okay, I need to make a plan. Like I literally like write them out, how much the amounts I need and like which projects will fit them or not, and which will I have to cover with double because I don't have anything, and which ones I can cover because I have something. It's like, there's like so much dopamine, so much extra dopamine I get from stitching with this organization. So this is a year of dragon, and my biggest project this year is a dragon sweatshirt. I stitched it in a dragon sow, and every 2 weeks I have to give at least 500 stitches. So yeah, it's not moving very fast, but it doesn't move very fast not because I don't like it. It doesn't move fast because it's kind of difficult how I'm doing it. The pattern is easiest. If I would stitch it just on fabric, I think I can finish it in 3 months easily. Right now, it's already like 5 months. So this is like Zlatое runo. It should be like a golden thread in Russian company, and this the thing called Magic of East. Magic of the East. So you see it's like a dragon, the sun. I don't know why, but I always call what I understand this is like a sunset sun because that's why it's like very red. But I always want to call it a moon. Maybe because like many movies have the red moon, like cursed one. I don't know. But like this is the dragon. And this is what I'm doing. And if you have a keen eye, you can already spot the difference. First of all, I am stitching it without soluble canvas. I'm just using my sweatshirt on it. This is a Uniqlo sweatshirt. It's so difficult to find sweatshirts without like labels, without pictures, anything. But like Uniqlo always have all the sweatshirts without labels. So if I want like some t-shirt or sweatshirt to stitch on, I always go to Uniqlo. That's just my prompt. If you can find something like this, it's very good for you. But like if you're want to embellish your clothes, the easiest way is Uniqlo, because also their fabric is very good. And unfortunately their fabric is not even. It's not squares, it's like rectangles. They are longer. So if you would see like this, look at his head. Like this head is more like small and round, and my head is more like a long alligator. But I don't mind. Like, I actually love the way it turns out. Like, it's very, very elongated. The whole thing is longer. It's not, it doesn't look bad though. Like his hand, his head, even the moon. Like, this is supposed to be a circle. But I don't mind. Like, at the end, when I will finish the whole dragon, I'll just put like a circle dish or circle cup here, and I will draw a circle, and I will just stitch on like the needed stitches to make it a proper circle. So it will be a circle moon sun at the end. And at the moment, you can see that I almost did like 50%. My Saga app, which I'm using to cross stitch, it does show me I have more, because first of all, I have all this part to stitch, and you see it's like very heavily stitched, especially like this part and this part is like a lot of stitches. And secondly, it does have a lot of back stitch, which I will be doing. Like, I want the back stitch on it. Maybe I'll make a darker back stitch on his mustache, because my fabric is white and I don't think they will look very distinctive. But you can see, like, I'm here, which is the top of this building. Yeah, I still have some empty holes to fill in, and like at least like a little corner of the moon to finish and the birds, but like I'm already like ready to conquer this part. So like, to my eyes, it's already 50%. In the app, it's less, just because there should be a lot of backstitch. But like, realistically speaking, backstitch always flies much faster than stitches. So I think it will be much better, especially like right now when I'm stitching. I cannot count the holes, like they're so small, they are minuscule, so I cannot really count the holes. I have to like stitch layer by layer, because when I start counting holes, I make mistakes, and I cannot frog on this fabric. Like, I cannot frog on a sweatshirt when I'm using 4 strands. Yes, I made this project absolutely unbearable just for myself. It should be stitched in 2 strands on 18 Zweigart Aida and should be amazing. I'm stitching it on uneven sweatshirt where you cannot see any holes with 4 strands, because I wanted a coverage. And it does have a coverage. It does have like carpet-like. It's like very, very stiff. But at the same time, I really like how it looks. And the stitches look very good. It's all in half stitch. It's not full cross, it's all in half stitch, and the coverage is amazing. You cannot see like the fabric under it. So this is a true project of passion, of torture, of sweat and tears, but love. And when it will be finished, I just foresee me going to like everyone, everywhere in the sweater. I'm like, so what do you think about my dragon? You can touch it. I do like that with other t-shirts I stitch. Usually when I'm in a t-shirt or jacket with I stitch, I'll be like, yeah, and actually I did this myself. Yeah, it's cross stitch, you can touch it. So that would be amazing. That's a lot of things to that. But yeah. Second thing, I was like, I had 4 focus projects right now that I stitch every week. At the moment, I play a game, like a team game with other cross stitchers, which is like, it's like a mix of Stalker and Fallout game. So basically, like, every team has their own bunker. We have like every week's quests, and we have to stitch for our resources. We have like leveling system when you earn like points in strength or agility or other things if you stitch certain projects or like fit in some criteria for these projects. So yeah, at first I was amazed by this game. It was so interesting. I was like, wow, this concept is cool. The quests were like, oh, awesome. They were very challenging, super challenging, because we do have 20 people in our team, but at first they started giving us like stitch 30,000 stitches a week, like for the whole team, or like 40,000 stitches a week if you want to finish all the quests. And if you don't finish the quests, you will have some punishment, like something will happen in your bunker, and then you will have to stitch additional stitches to like fix it or clean up. Or if you don't, you will have some like debuffs, like you will have to count your like less 10% stitches for the whole week. So that was very cool. But after a month of this like very intense and active and like survival type game, a lot of people started to complain. And you know what? Right now we have a lot of like bunkers, like we have 13 bunkers, so I assume there is at least 130 people playing this game. And as much as I love the idea, I hate what it turned into. Because if you make a game, like you set up the rules, you have to follow your rules. Like you cannot change rules every week just to suit everybody. This is not like stitch whatever you want, however you want, whenever you want game. This is like very intense, very like task oriented game for like challenging you and making your life more interesting. But like there were complaints like, oh my god, I cannot, I have like all this one project and it has to fit all the tasks. If it doesn't fit all the tasks, you have to change the tasks. Then there were complaints like, we use resources, like every bunker every week have to like eat, drink, and use electricity. So we do have resources, and to get more resources, like you have to stitch like on something with water, something with food, or like every week. And you have to earn resources, but you only can work on resources on like extra weeks. So for example, 3 weeks we have active quests, and we have 1 week of only stitch on resources. And then everybody were like super complaining, like they don't have any resources left just because the week that they should be working on resources, they did not. So for the next 3 weeks, of course, they are starving and they don't have electricity and blah blah blah, and they're on the brink of flanking from the game. So they started complaining, is like, we don't have any resources. So what I would do is like, okay, you are dying, we have less bunkers. It's a free to play game. It's not about, it doesn't have any prize, but like you don't manage well, so don't play this game. Go find another cell. There are so many cells, so many games. But like the organizers decided to accommodate everybody, and like for the whole month we had no quests at all. Like we only stitched the resources, and now it's all finished into a kind of game which like have a quest every week to stitch like barely 10,000 stitches a week. So everybody in the team are like this, like no one wants to stitch, like you don't have like this high stakes, so everyone will survive. We have more resources right now that we need in a month. We don't need to stitch like at least a month for the resources. And she gives the time to stitch resources every like other week now, not once a month, every other week. So we don't have too many challenging quests. We don't have like, we have an intriguing storyline, but because we're doing the quests so slowly, it's like I already forgot where we are in the quest line and what we were doing, and like it's a big disappointment. At the moment, I'm still playing this game just because I don't want to like disappoint my team. I have really good team and really good like relationship with these girls. We played several games previously together, so I really don't want to just give up on them. But the game is like, it's like trash right now. I hope like she will learn on managing mistakes and make a better game next time, because the idea was amazing. Like the idea, the plot, the quest, they're all good. Just don't need to like accommodate everybody. Like you can't. It's not that type of game. Whatever. So I'm very disappointed about this, but at the moment right now we have like side quests there. And side quest is that we have to earn money and like buy we have to stitch like around 14,000 stitches for the like radiation costume, and we need to buy a backpack, and buy a backpack only costs like in-game money. And how you can earn the money is like every week you have to stitch 4 projects, 300 stitches each. Like you choose the projects from the beginning, they have to answer the certain theme, which was magical theme, and like you cannot change unless you finish them. So basically you're stuck with 4 active projects for at least like a couple months until you earn that money. And my second active project is actually a modal stitch, and that's why I chose it as an active project, because I needed to stitch it at least like 2,000 stitches every 2 weeks, which I'm doing, and I'm doing even more. For August alone, I stitched 5,000 on it, so I'm doing really good. And this is The Forest in Your Hands by Natalia Plitonka, and she has her group like Kingfishers, and I follow them for a long time. I really like her designs, and when she introduced her work and asked who wants to model stitch it, I was like, me, just like my kids in the kindergarten. I was like, me. Just because I like it. And she made her pattern on gray, so of course I chose a light gray for the pattern, and this is how much I have at the moment. How to show, so it will show. It's a little bright today. Okay, let's say like this maybe. Yeah. So there are hands with like walnuts and berries, and I started on the mushrooms on the side. And I'm not the only one who's doing the modal stitch for this work. She actually chose like 4 people, I think. One of girls is stitching on clothes. I think it will be like a shirt or a jacket. And 3 of others, we are stitching on gray, but different shades of gray. And now I'm thinking I should have chosen darker gray. Like this is a very light gray, and I think like the white hands are a little lost on it, but it will have a lot of backstage at the end, so it will be very visible. Like right now you kind of lost, like it's very very visible when it's close up, but when it's further, yeah, you only can see like 2 red berries. But when it will be all backstitched, it will be super super visible, because all the backstitch is like black and white. So it's my favorite backstitch ever, and of course it will be super easy to do. Everybody from the model stitching team, let's say team, we're started from different corners. I started in the middle, and actually the designer complimented me and said, oh my god, so good that you started in the middle. I wanted to see how the hands were. And I'm like, oh come on girl, I'm gonna stitch the hands for you. So yeah, I'm focusing on the hands for a moment. I did I did a little bit of the mushroom on the side, just because like the colors were the same. But yeah, I'm gonna like focus element by element. And this, it has so many blends. Like if you are not into blends, don't buy this pattern. If you can bear them, I highly recommend. The pattern is very easy to follow. Like it's not, it doesn't have any 3/4, it doesn't have any like half or something. It's like cross stitch and back stitch, very easy. But so many blends. like, I don't remember, 50 colors, and half of them are blends, probably like this. So come on, join me. BDSM, cross stitch BDSM, blends don't scare me. Okay, third thing that I'm focusing during the whole month, which is also a part of the magical stitch, was the present from one of the YouTubers. It's Haku from Yudina Anastasia. She has the same name as me. Of course, I love all the designers who have Anastasia in their name. And this is how much it grow. Like, I think I showed you the bare start when I stitched one shade of white during the last vlog video. But right now I already finished like 3 colors. It has 2 blues and blend of blues, so it's 2500 stitches more over the whole course of a month, and I think it's good. I'm not focusing it for the finish. I'm barely like stitching 300 to 500 stitches on it for a week, but it's so small and it's so easy to stitch that I think even without like focus on a finish, it will be a fast finish. Like, as long as I'm stitching it every week a little by little, it's gonna finish very fast. Like, I need to stitch a certain amount of stitches on the dragon to finish it before winter, so I can wear it. But this one, I don't even need to stress up or focus. I can stitch like 300 stitches every week, and I think I can finish it even before October, just because it's so small, it's so cute, so awesome. Another thing that is also my fourth focus, drinking ASMR for you. My fourth focus is another magical work, which is the pattern I ordered from a designer. It is Marceline from Adventure Time, and the designer is Anna Klautova. She's on Instagram and VK, and she designs patterns really amazing, very detailed. This time she did not use any blends. She only used like full cross and half cross, and like full cross but when like lower half stitches is in different color than its upper half stitches, and I'm very excited to stitch that part. I really like her work and the way she designs things, but this one grew the least compared to other projects. Like, I think like her hair and most of the ground, like that's the thing that grew. It was 1200 stitches for the project, that's it. And like, I stitch it every week, 300 stitches, and right now I'm over 50%. So I think another month or 2 without even focus, and I will finish it, and I will have my amazing Marceline. So excited. I like when I'm stitching, like, not even focusing on it. Like, I sometimes I do stitch some project from beginning to the end, like put as much attention to it as I need, like, because it's a focus stitch, maybe for a friend's birthday, or like for a gift, or for the market, like when I really need it. But sometimes I don't. I just like pick every day something different, and then after the whole month I'm like, ooh. I'm like, ooh, it's already almost done. So these were my 4 focuses. Also, I had 2 finishes. So the first finish is Hands-on Designs Flamingo All the Way. And I couldn't find the, like, not couldn't, I just didn't look very well. I didn't look for the preview, but I found a preview of a next flamingo. And if you compare, my flamingos are much more bright. It's because I did not use the so-called colors, called for colors. I just choose the colors going like from my stash or whatever, like leftovers from other kits I finished or anything like this. And this project I haven't touched for 2 years. And then this year I take part in a SAL where every month you have to finish a small less than 3,000 stitches. Like the whole small should be less than 3,000 stitches. If you have a big one, but like it has 6,000 stitches, but it has only like 20 stitches left, you cannot choose it. But if it's a small, you actually can finish it or start and finish, but it has to have less than 3,000 stitches. One of the Russian YouTubers is hosting this sale, and it was originally to diminish your stash. Actually, it makes me buy more small patterns, though I have a lot. But like this, this year I already like half bought, half stitched from my stash. So it's okay, it's working. It's kind of working. But then I found this work and I was like, it only needs like 100 stitches, even less. And I was always, because I'm playing these games, and the minimum number of stitches you can do is like 100 stitches. And I was like, it should be like 80 here. It cannot be 100. Like so little left. And then one of the organizers, she said like, okay, if you do 80 and you make a finish, then we will count like 100 because it's a finish. And I'm like, really? Okay. And I started stitching on it, and it was 250 extra stitches. I was like, what? So basically, like what I did is I did all their beaks and dies, all the ribbons and like bows, all the jingle balls, and the greens here. Like, so before that, I had all the flamingos in pink and all the words done. Also, all the backstitch. Backstitch was a lot. Like it's all like one little line, but like actually it amounts into like at least 50 stitches in backstitch. So that was cool. And I was like, oh, that's more than I expected. And I had a finish. So now this winter I will finally start the second flamingo, the flamingo bow. And then after a couple more years, when I finish this tiny small, I will be able to hunt down and stitch the third one. It's not necessarily that will take me 2 years to stitch it. It just like the last one did. So, but I'm still very happy. Very, very happy. You cannot see on my face, but in my mind I'm like, just because it will be super creepy to show you on the video like this. And another thing that I stitched and finished was one of the little animals in the earphones. Last vlog I showed you that I bought the patterns with animals in the earphones, and of course I started one and finished. And this is a vanity inside, and this is not the vanity I made. I bought it on Taobao, very cheap, like a couple yuan, and then maybe 15 yuan. Okay, 15 yuan. And then I stitched a little hedgehog on it, and because it was so little and so tiny, I also added like some fireworks. I added some musical notes all around him. Like here you cannot see the blue one. Where is it? Here. Too bright today, too sunny. Blue, and this is a light purple. Okay, so I made a little vanity, and just this one I also didn't stitch with soluble canvas, but this fabric is kind of even, but it's very small. So just for comparison between 28 count and this, look at the size of the stitches. I hope you do see them. This is like tiniest stitches I've ever did, and they are so cute and amazing. Yeah, it was not a very easy work. Like this one and the dragon I can only stitch in the mornings with like very natural sunlight, and if it's like cloudy I cannot stitch it at all. Maybe that's why I also don't like stitching the dragon too much, because like I cannot just stitch it like any moment I want. Like I can take anything else and like put on a lamp and stitch, but this one, it kills my eyes, kills it. But at least the hedgehog took me like 3-4 days only. It's 1800 stitches. It's very cute, very little, and an easy finish. But of course in September I will have something else, some smalls to stitch, so we will talk about plans at the end of the video, and I will share my plans for new starts for September, because I really need to start. I've been focusing on my older whips too long, and now I need to stitch something else. But that's not only the whips that I touched. I told you I have 10 prompts, and I need to cover as many of them as I can without stitching double stitches. So one of the prompts was stitch something with an arrow or with a bow. And the only arrow I found was from Owl Forest Embroidery, the Princess Frog. And actually one of the frogs here is holding an arrow, and the frog here is holding an arrow, because the frog princess, she caught the arrow that the prince shoot randomly in some way, and she caught the arrow, and that's how the prince found her, and that's how the prince decided to marry her. So I had to stitch 1200 stitches on this, and I loved it. Every minute of this is amazing. Like, if I didn't need to focus on other things, I would probably want to focus on this till the end of the year, because it is such an easy stitch, and you can't believe it, but 1200 stitches were like almost a day and a half work. Like, so easy. Like, what I started here and I did the whole plant, like lotus plant. Then I did this a little bit of white just to count from it. I didn't finish just because I had like a little left of the white color on my thread, and I was like, okay, I'm not unwinding new bobbin of white, I'm just using like leftover, and just because I needed to count later, I don't want to like make mistakes. Then I did the 4 more like lily pads, or what is it called, like lotus pads, the frog, and half of her frock. So this is the frog princess herself. I had up to here, like I had this part up to here, and then I had all this part, the second side full, and then her like necklace or the top of her dress, and then her eyes and her crown. Oh, I think it's like, yeah, it's totally 50% already finished. She still has a lot. Like, if you look at the preview, oh, I don't have a better picture. She has like white sleeves, she has like some flowers around her, so all of this inside the gate will be full. Also, there are some flowers all around her, and there is like a big dragonfly bush and another frog and another side of the flowers. So there's still a lot, but also not as much, because this is very easy and this is very give me joy. It gives me so much joy, because like you stitch every stitch and it changes color. Like all this hand dyed floss, it's like changes color when you touch it. And actually, like this floss, it has like range of color between like the very darkest to very lightest of green, and I didn't want any light green in her dress. Like, this is just my thought. So I cut out the part of the thread that had lighter green, and I used it like here and here and in here. And then the darker like part of that same thread I used for her frog. And then here I finished. So I went to the frog and stitched it with light and dark together. So it was very enjoyable. I had a blast. Then I had a prompt to stitch something about the village, and I picked out my John Clayton watercolor. I'm not sure how it's the name of old farmhouse, but like in Russian community we call it like the the killer house. It's like, it kind of looks like a house from what was the movie, the Chainsaw Massacre. Kinda like. So yeah, I had 600 stitches on it, and unfortunately that's all I did. Like, I didn't do any extra, I didn't do something else. So I picked out this very light blue, and I finished 600 in light blue. Like, this is all already the last stitches. Like, they don't have any other color. This is the side of the work. So of course I have still a lot, like I need all this side and there's like a big chunk underneath, but like I already finished one corner. Yeah, this corner is like ripped. But like it's the pattern, not me. And you cannot really see it so much in the sunny weather on this camera, but you have to trust me, I did 600 stitches here. It's a very enjoyable stitch and I would like to stitch it more, but somehow when it's like not a present and not like for the market, it's for me and for my walls, I stitch it for ages. Like I could stitch it for years and years to come and then frame it and then love it as much as the first day I pick it up. I don't know, it's like it accumulates all the emotions, all the feelings. Plus this pattern is relatively easy. I don't need to like remember, like pass the knowledge from the last time I stitched to the next time. Like I just pick up the stitching, I see the thread, okay, I finished the thread, now I on my app I pick a next color, I stitch the next color. That's it. So super easy. Next thing I stitched was the prompt, something about the books, or yeah, I think something about the books. So I stitched Romantic Jane from Victoria Ivchenko, and her patterns are difficult. Like the difference between John Clayton and this pattern is immense. This is one of the hardest patterns I've stitched in my life, but the progress I made this time is also amazing. It's only like 2,200 stitches, but before I had her face and her hair and this blue of the book, like at least like most of it, and now you can see like all the firework of colors around her, and all her clothes, her hands, like everything, like her super long neck, which makes her a little giraffe. I am stitching her on like this peach antique color. It's Zweigart, it's not hand dyed, it's printed fabric, but it's like peach antique and I love how it complements it. Also, this design has some half stitches, like it should make like watercolor around her. Like for example, should be some pink here and purple here and blue here and green here. But because my fabric is already like patterned, I'm not gonna stitch the half stitches because I don't like how the half stitches look on color. Like if it would be white fabric, yeah, amazing, because then the watercolor will look like watercolor, like a splash of water just on your fabric. But when it's like colorful fabric, or especially like dark fabric, and this fabric is not white, it does look bad. It just looks like this punctuated like lines of color and doesn't like cover, it doesn't have the coverage to cover the fabric behind it. I don't like when people, for example, they have the watercolor background and then they choose very dark gray or black fabric. It doesn't look watercolor. Like it doesn't just look watercolor. But that's why I'm not doing it. So this project will be smaller than the designer originally thought, but it will be very beautiful. And it's not much to finish. I think next year I can put it on a like 100% finish spree, because every year I have like a number of projects which I'm like, okay, this is like very little left, so I will try to focus maybe 1 or 2 times this year so I can make it in a finish. And this project is like already very little left, but I still have a lot to stitch this year, and I'm not sure if it will have a prompt to stitch this project like in the next 4 months. Because if there will be a prompt, something with a book or something, or inspired by the book, I'll be like, yeah, I can choose this because it's the easy choice. But if it doesn't have, I will stitch something else because I always have a lot on the go. And just because I'm absolutely not demure. I had more. And for the prompt for something with furniture, I stitched on Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery Storytime Classics. And the furniture I found was here at the Sherlock Holmes house. So let me name the books I stitched and which I did myself. Like Winnie the Pooh, I absolutely did it myself. The Alice in Wonderland, it was from the original Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery sampler, whatever they provided. Peter Pan from original. Emerald City, original. Pippi the Longstocking. This is like a mix of the original pattern and my change of it. Mary Poppins, mine. Redwall, mine. Hogwarts, which I was stitching this time, and I put 600 stitches in here, but it's not my design. I actually saw it on Instagram and I just redraw it from the Instagram. Same with the Hobbits and same with like horror stories. For me, it's like Stephen King stories. And then the Sherlock Holmes books from the original stories. Just because like the whole set of the books from the original Storytime Classics did not did not answer what I read when I was a kid, because we all have different like childhood books, but when we are from different countries, we will have different like books you usually read. Like we did not read like Disney books or something too much. We read more like Russian fairy tales or some other books. So for example, like not many people would read the Redwall, but in at that moment in Russia it was good, it was big because they had like a cartoon and they had a book and everything. And here it should be the Sky Pirates. I don't remember the author, but when I will finish I will tell you. And this project will answer so many prompts, but unfortunately I did not finish this pattern yet. Like I already charted the main character, I charted the flying sheep, and I charted some of the background. But like you see, all these backgrounds, they're very elaborated. Like they have so many details, they have so many things around them. So of course I want like to put in many small things, but because I'm not like pixel artist as much, it takes me some time. So my next step, like maybe this month, maybe October, is like I want to finish the charting. So after I finish the charting, and if there will be prompts for this project, I can pick it up, and I really want to finish it this year. Like I started it in 2018 when I saw Stitching Mommy doing it on YouTube, and I started it that year. So it's already been 6 years. It's the longest WIP in my pile. Like even the Magpies and Persimmons were like 4.5 years, and I finished them. I cannot like drag it longer because one frame is a little more than 1,000 stitches, and like Harry Potter and Hobbit together, I think they have like 300 stitches left with all the backstitch. So it could be just 1 month's work if only I could finish the charting, because like I wanted to pick it up for more prompts, but I didn't have the chart. And I was like, shit. And there's only one thing left to show you. Promise. One thing, and then we'll talk about plans. I have a big start this month because I had a prompt to stitch with red, and I stitch 600 in red, 1200 on wood, and 300 on animal or something like this. So I started the Santa Claus by Fruzilok. It's a Ukrainian company. They used to make kits on wooden pieces, wooden base, and I love them. I'm so happy I bought them when I could. I would love to buy much more of their projects, but not sure if it's available at the moment. And this is how much I stitched, and I'm very happy. Like, first of all, it's already 27%. Like, just 1 month of stitching and like 2.5 prongs gave me 27%. It's all red. There is almost finished the Christmas tree. There is 1 or 2 colors left, and a lot of deer. I'm in love. I love this part. The only like difficult part is that I cannot take it anywhere with me. Usually like wooden projects are my travel project because like it's very easy to take them. They don't need extra maintenance, but this part is so fragile. I am afraid like to put it in my bag. Like even in a project bag, if I choose a bigger bag and put it in there, like there is a possibility that I'll be buying stuff or like squished my bag or something, and it could like, and I will die if it happens. Like I don't want to do it. So I want to finish it this year. This is number 1 to finish this winter, because I already have several more projects for the winter that I really want to do, but I want this first to, let's say, I want this first to make to decorate my table. That's what I want to say. I want this to decorate my table while I'm working on other things. That would be amazing. This is not for the market, this is not for the sale, this is just for me. And I think this is not much of work because a big chunk of stitches is a back stitch. So considering there's like about 2,000 in back stitch, it's like nothing. So if we don't count the back stitch at all, maybe I'm already like 40% stitches done or something. Like, no, not 30, 40, maybe 35. I'm like, that's a lot. And I loved it, how easy and how fast it went, and I had so much fun. It smells good, it goods on for my hands, it's big, it's comfortable. I just love stitching on wood. It's my favorite part. Okay, let's talk about plants. So in September, of course, I have 10 more prompts on which I will pick out some of the older weaves which I did not touch this year, but because it's August video, I'm not gonna share with you September prompts, and I'm not gonna share what projects I'm gonna use. You will have to watch next video for the September thing. But one thing to say is like most of the September or whole September I will be focusing on these 4 projects: the dragon, the water dragon, the hands, and the Marcelli. They are main focus. They still main focus. But I also want to do starts. Why? One of the starts because my friend just gave birth to a baby. Of course, to a baby, not to a puppy, right? But like to a baby, and he's a dragon baby. So we were talking with her, and because she's she's not a French, she's a Chinese, and I asked her if she wants like baby matrix, because I'm not sure like Chinese like these things, but she's like, yeah, I would love it. And then we discussed some designs with her, and she chose one of the designers I don't like, but the design is good. Like, this is the dragon that she chose, the baby dragon, which was like born by this chicken because it's an egg, or like he was not born by the chicken, but the chicken was sitting on the egg, and the dragon hatched, and now the chicken is like, what? So the dragon itself is adorable, but the designer had so much controversy and so much like bitching. So I vowed to never buy patterns from her and to never like support monetarily her. But like at that moment my pregnant friend said she wants this pattern, so I couldn't tell her like, yeah, I'm not gonna do it just because I don't like this designer. She's a bee. So yeah, I told her of course I will do it. Like, I told her it will take me several months, so I have till the end of this year to give it to her, so it's not a big deal, but I will have to buy a pattern and stitch it. So no more prolonging the torture. Let's just do it and let's just stitch it in September. Another thing, it's not the only last dragon I will be stitching. Like, this is the dragon, the heart is the dragon for the baby, and then I have a plan to stitch another like rather big dragon for my husband's birthday, but his birthday is in March. So basically, even if I start it in December, it's already gonna be good. It's kind of big, so I would like to stitch it like for several months. Plus, I am gonna do something interesting with it. So it's not on fabric and it's not on clothes. It's gonna be interesting. But it's gonna be difficult, so I need like several months to do it. That's why it's not the last dragon. That's all what I want to say. Another new start will be Apple Blossom from LK Cross. And this year I have a plan to give my mother-in-law and aunties for New Year. Like, usually for New Year I give them some cross-stitch gifts. Like, it's kind of tradition now. Like, for 2 years I gave them, but like last year we went to Russia, so I took all the gifts for my Russian family and I made them aprons. But like this year we celebrate New Year in China with my Chinese family, so it's only natural that I will give them something cross-stitch. Only natural for me that I will give them something cross-stitch as a present. And I saw on Taobao like baskets, like woven baskets, and a friend of mine, she works on markets with me. She actually buys these baskets, ready-made baskets. They are handmade, but like by other Chinese people, and she decorates them with fabric. Like, she does some embellishments, some fabric things, and she makes them amazing. And I was like, but what if I use not the fabric? What if I use cross stitch? So now I need like 3 circle designs with some floral designs, because I think like floral designs will be better for like mother-in-law and aunties. I don't want to give them 2 different designs. Like, I don't want to give one dragon, one chicken, and one baby. I want them to be like, because they're all like one family, I can't differentiate too much. But I want to give them like maybe 3 different kinds of flowers, but all the flowers I saw were like so big, too big. Because the design itself should fit the basket, and the biggest basket is like 15 centimeters. So it's not very big. It's very interesting and very delicate, but not very big. So I want to squish it on a very small fabric and to stitch it. And the first whole like circle design I found would be the Apple Blossom. And actually, on a 32 count, it is amazingly 14 to 15 centimeters. So it's like perfect fit. So I will be on the lookout for other circle designs, but in September at least I need to start to finish. Like, get very, very close to finish. So in October maybe I will finish it and start a new one, because I need to finish in 4 months 3 designs. That's a lot. That's a lot for me, because with all the other things going on. The third start I want to make, I'm not sure I have time, but at least like 100 stitches start, like just bare minimum, right? Over the Gryffindor pillow. Like last year I started, but finished it this February. I finished the Slytherin pillow. And now I want to start the Gryffindor pillow, because this is also a bigger design. This is like 9,000 stitches per pillow, and considering I'm doing like 10,000 per month, it will take me like till the end of the year just to finish it. And I want to do it because there is also Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw, and I am crazy that I want to do all 4 of them, and I don't want to waste too much time, because they are for the market, so they should be quicker stitched. I have like this crazy idea that I want to take 4 pillow picture together. So but I will take the Slytherin picture to all my markets, and if I sell it, I sell it. So I need to start and finish Gryffindor fast, like now, like tomorrow. So this was all my cross stitch for August. I hope this was an entertaining video for you and interesting, or maybe you found out some new design for yourself. So thanks for your attention and see you next time. Bye!